Today, we're going to dig into two huge trends that are completely reshaping our world. First, that feeling of just wanting to tune out the news, and second, the much deeper crisis of trust that's connecting it all. I mean, really, you see the headlines, right? And you just feel this wave of, I don't know, exhaustion or frustration, and you decide, nope, not today. You close the app, you flip the channel, you just put the phone down. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, well, you are definitely not alone. And it turns out, that feeling is anything but unique. Just look at this number. In a country like Bulgaria, a staggering 63% of people are actively, consciously avoiding the news. This isn't just a bad mood, you know? This is a massive, measurable shift in how we're all dealing with information. So yeah, this whole phenomenon, it actually has a name, the Great Switch Off. Let's start by looking at the symptoms. What does this huge disengagement actually look like out in the wild? As we just saw, the numbers are particularly high in parts of Eastern Europe. You've got Bulgaria at 63% and Croatia right on its heels at 61%. That points to a really profound disconnect between the public and the traditional news sources in those regions. And this shift isn't just about avoiding the news. It's also about the platforms themselves completely changing. Take Brazil, for example. Back in 2013, half the population got their news from a physical newspaper. By 2025, that's expected to be just 10%. Think about that. An entire media habit, virtually gone in a little over a decade. And as print fades, you've got new things rising up to take its place. It's fascinating. In Brazil, podcasts now have pretty much the same audience share as print. And right behind them, AI chatbots. The old idea of a single source of truth is just being shattered and replaced by this fragmented, tech-driven landscape. But, news avoidance and changing platforms, those are just the symptoms. They're what's happening on the surface. To really get what's going on, we have to look deeper at the underlying cause. And this right here, this is the absolute heart of the matter. It's not just that people are tired of the news. In so many cases, they've literally stopped believing in it. The entire foundation is shaking. So, to really understand this crisis, some fascinating research from Edelman suggests we need to stop thinking about trust as just, a feeling. It's much more useful to think of it as a form of currency, and it's the most valuable one any institution can possibly have. This definition is so key. Trust isn't passive. It's the active currency that allows businesses, governments, and the media to even function. It's the essential asset that underpins their entire relationship with all of us. Okay, so when a news organization has this currency, it has a license to operate. It can take risks, it can report on tough subjects, it can even make a mistake and recover from it because people give it the benefit of the doubt. But when that currency is spent, when that trust is gone, it loses everything. And here it is, just stated as plainly as possible. This is the consequence. You lose the currency of trust, and you lose your credibility. Your entire reputation is on the line. Simple as that. So, if trust is a currency, what happens when its value absolutely crashes? Well, we don't have to imagine it. We're seeing it play out in real time all across the globe. Just look at these figures for a second. In countries like Hungary and Greece, trust in the news is sitting at a mere 22%. That means more than 3/4 of the population is deeply skeptical. In places like these, the currency of trust is basically bankrupt. Now hold that thought about low trust, and now look at this. In places like Thailand, Malaysia, and Kenya, nearly half the population is getting news from TikTok. See the pattern? When trust in the traditional institutions evaporates, people don't stop looking for information, they just start looking for it somewhere else. And what this shows us is a really predictable cycle. First, trust in the old guard media erodes. Second, audiences naturally go looking for alternatives. TikTok, podcasts, AI, you name it. And the final result? A totally fragmented information landscape where there's no single shared source of truth anymore. So this brings us to the most important question of all, really. What does this new world actually look like? And what are the consequences for every single one of us? The bottom line is this. The institutions that once sort of curated our shared reality, well, they've lost a huge amount of their authority. And that door they used to guard is now just wide open, leading to a future that feels a whole lot more chaotic and far, far less certain. And that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? In a world where that currency of trust has been so devalued and everyone is turning to their own sources, who or what becomes the final decider of what's true? That's something we all really need to be thinking about.